So at different points over the course of the exhibition, on different days, different lights appear and turned on and off, and different components of the exhibition are put in place and then removed. And part of this was that I wanted the exhibition to be something that you could have a different experience of depending on which day you visited the exhibition. So the show isn't going to be the same for every person that visits it. It'll change. And part of that is also that I wanted the exhibition to feel like a business where people work in shifts. So depending on what day you visit, a different person or object will be working or performing on that day. So there's a kind of a precarity built into the exhibition. There's no single starting point. There's several starting points. So I wanted to make something as well that had lots of, not so much just like one in point and one exit, or that built into one point, but something that would kind of like spin off into lots of different directions at the same time. So rather than there being one idea, there are several ideas placed on top of each other and beside each other that kind of, hopefully there's a reverberation between the different components that kind of mesh into some kind of cloud-like formation. Several small motors is the name of a text that I wrote that's included in the exhibition. And the starting point for that was trying to write something like an artist statement of the objectives that I had for my work, but in a way that was as fantastical as possible. So the motors are like these things that I want the work to do. So each motor corresponds to a task that the work should perform, ideally, or at least in this kind of fantastical realm. And the text describes how these motors kind of sometimes contradict each other or work in unison, and sometimes diverge and sometimes coalesce into different functions. The reason that I use found materials and found objects is, I guess initially it comes from wanting the work to have its origins in really diverse parts of the world, and that it connects with the world in these kind of far-flung places and events. And I feel that by bringing these things together, they can somehow form kind of like, they form chords nearly of associations that might not make immediate sense, but there's room for the viewer to make connections between things.